Fans believe Momma Durk responded to Big Durk, asking the fans to keep their family in prayer as Lil Durk trial starts today. Make sure y'all smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Music 101, the Street Reporter, and I'm back with another video. Let's get into it.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. That day is finally upon us. Tomorrow we start trial. Tomorrow is that day we all been looking for. So alhamdulillah, man. Continue to keep us in prayer. Continue to shower your love and your support on us. We need it at this time right here. And we ask everyone to continue to be there for us. There's going to be a 3 to 4 week trial, alhamdulillah, and don't let a day go past that you don't make dua for, that you don't pray for us, and we will be victorious in the end, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Momma Durk went live and said, "Motherfuckers ain't prayed this much in their life. And what was all these prayers for the victim's family when Durk was doing what he was doing?"
But I'ma say this, y'all, and this for any God-fearing person. What God got for you, he got for you. And it's just not the good things. You gonna get them bad things too for playing with him, for blaspheming, for thinking he a joke, for thinking he don't exist, for thinking he don't make it possible, for only thinking that he only come around when stuff is going good, or not acknowledging him when it's bad. If I can tell y'all this, because I ain't prayed this much in their life, because now they need God. And now they want God to like, but where was all that when the other families was going through what they was going through behind this man was doing, behind the his team was doing? It's not right.
If I'm not mistaken, Lil Pal mother run his Instagram page, and she posted today, 8/20/2022, I had to identify you. 8/20/2026, jury selection, Lord give me strength and peace.
Well, I tell you this, they say Jam gonna get on that stand and gonna tell every goddamn thing.
So another area where Jam was brought up, they basically talked about this federal freestyle, and they said that, you know, it's funny because the prosecutors literally said, look, Jam wasn't known as a good rapper. He was known as a hitter, a killer for OTF and for the Black Disciples. He was known as a Black Disciple hitter, and that's why he was put on this federal, ironically named federal freestyle. And that was basically as like, you know, as a favor for Jam. They were saying that that was almost like to solidify his place in the ranks of OTF and the dirt that he was going to or had already committed for the crew. And they basically said that apparently Jam is going to testify that he was in the federal freestyle, and that he basically is going to say that, look, he felt like if he didn't do the murder, if he didn't participate in this hit, that he felt like he wouldn't be included in these there's all types of sirens going on right now. It's crazy. That basically that they feel like Jam said that he didn't feel like he would have been included in all the OTF, you know, things that were going on, these opportunities, if he hadn't participated in that murder. And the last thing I'm going to say is that they said outright that apparently Jam was recruited for the Lil Pab murder by Booney Mo, and they basically said that Booney Mo had said to Jam specifically that Durk, but referring to him as Blood, he wants to fly you out for this murder. And apparently that's all going to be testified to. That's not looking great, to be honest with you guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if Durk don't get brought up. But I was hearing that, yeah, he put up 50 and when they dropped pictures, he put up the other dude, put up the other 50. Well, we gonna see. When Jam testify and all these other people testify, we're gonna see. When I say this right, all that was over music. It's just senseless. And I'm saying this because I feel like I got the right to speak on, and nothing I'm saying is biased, is wrong, but it's what God is intending to happen. I can tell y'all this for a fact. There is no way that Carlton Weekly would have gotten in that position and fumbled it like that. Not only would he have did it, his family wouldn't have let him, or his friends. How the clout is. But what I'm going to do is prove I'm going to try to change the narrative, because I was a part of this destruction, so it's up to me to try to make it right. Whatever the outcome with this man's life is, it's God's decision. It's going to be on God.
Now, as y'all know from the beginning, lawyer Bradford Cohen, he always said that he feel Durk got a great chance to beat this case. His lawyers is great. He really got confidence that Durk can come out on top. Well, today, he gave us a little insight on the process of how jury selection is supposed to go.
All right, let's talk about the Little Durk trial. It starts today with jury selection. I'd be shocked if there wasn't a jury questionnaire that's already been circulated and answered. They will eliminate some of the people that they can eliminate prior to asking questions. The judge usually asks the opening questions. Sometimes courts allow you to submit questions to the court that the court would ask. Sometimes the court allows each individual, the prosecution and the defense questions. They usually get maximum 30 minutes, an hour. That would be unusual. I've been in courtrooms where they give you 20 minutes apiece to ask jurors some questions depending on the pool. This one's going to be interesting because they're going to be focusing on certain issues. You're not supposed to pre-try the case. Everyone does. You're supposed to look for non-biased individuals. Everybody looks for biased individuals. Everybody wants people that are either leaning towards the defense or leaning towards the government. And this is a really important part of the case because I think most cases are won or lost. Mike, would you agree in jury selection?
Jury deselection.
Jury deselection, genius, Mike. And that's why I like to use individuals that are jury selection experts. They do a psychological workup on some of these people. I can't have that in every case that I have, but on some of the more higher end cases where the individuals have some money to afford that, it really benefits the selection process. So we'll see how that goes, and then they're going to start putting on some witnesses. They're going to have their opening statements. They're going to start putting on some witnesses. This should be a good one because I think there's going to be a lot of fodder in cross-examination and a lot of fireworks when it comes to flipping co-defendants or flipping other people that were associated with this alleged murder for hire. I still think that the defense has a very good chance here if put on the right defense, and I'm telling you, he's got a very nice legal defense team. Drew and Brian are some of the best, and I think they're going to do a really great job for him.
Attorney Jasmine gave us her opinion on the type of jurors she would not pick during this type of case.
If I were a jury consultant for Durk's trial, I would not want someone who had a career supervising someone, such as, someone high up in the Army. I would not necessarily want a fan because that fan may feel disappointed by some of the evidence presented. I wouldn't want a person who says that he or she knows how to read people because that's a lot of reliance on, personal ability to read people rather than just, looking at the evidence. I wouldn't want someone who seems super eager to be on the jury. Since the trial record includes things like private jet travel, I wouldn't want someone who expresses animosity towards people with wealth. I wouldn't want someone who expresses that he or she believes that rap lyrics are literal. And I would just pay very close attention to the people who, when answering a question, everyone's looking at, or people that sound or seem like leaders, because that person may be the foreperson.
Trap Lord Ross, who at the trial explained Durk gang affiliations may be an issue for the juror, but the judge made it clear that the case was not a gang-related murder. Check it out, get in the comments, and let me know what y'all think. Do y'all believe that Durk gonna come out on top, or he gonna lose and spend the rest of his life in jail? Get in the comments and let me know. And if you enjoying the content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on all post notifications. It's free. Do it for me.
Okay, so I'm here outside the federal courthouse for day one of the Lil Durk murder for hire trial. And what is really interesting is that jury selection has begun. So let me give you the update on exactly what's going on. We've just had jury selection. Basically, jury selection is now ongoing. It was a packed courtroom. They've got 80 potential jurors. It sounds like that's probably like, I don't know if I want to say it's unusual, but it sounded like it was kind of on the more heavy side. What's really, really interesting is that obviously they've got so many jurors, they've got so many options, because there's really so much scope for this to go wrong with the jurors. I'm not going to lie. They said straight up to all of the jurors in the courtroom, look, this is about a murder case related to a very well-known rap superstar, like a star. He is a big name. You might have heard of him, all right? They said that they were going to give the jurors a massive questionnaire to try and find out a whole bunch of different things. Now, unfortunately, the media and the public, they're not going to be privy to what's on that questionnaire, so we don't know who's on the witness list. We don't know what was asked on the questionnaire. But what we do know is that it was very big, it was very comprehensive, and apparently what we did hear is that some of the stuff that they are going to be asked is if the jurors are into rap music, if they're into hip-hop, what their relationship is with hip-hop, what their kind of history is, kind of following this kind of case, this kind of coverage, if they've got any knowledge of the judge, of the lawyers, if there's any backstory that kind of, might make them biased, and they've been given that questionnaire. So I thought it was going to be a longer day today. They ended up ending it after sort of half a day. They've given those instructions to the jury, they've given out those questionnaires, and those jurors are going to come back tomorrow, and then we're basically going to hear from the lawyers. We're going to determine basically whether or not, some of the jurors are going to be excluded. What was really interesting is they said that they're basically, by the end of tomorrow, they need to have turned 80 jurors into 16.
Damn.
But what was really interesting that I heard today was really the judge giving specific instructions on the gang memberships and what's allowed to be said and what's not allowed to be said. Now, what was really fascinating in the kind of the final pre-trial hearing was that the judge has basically ruled, look, he is very adamant when he gave Durk the big W and severed the 2 different murder charges, the Vicar count, which is the Chicago murder, the Stefan Mack murder, that's allegedly a gang-related murder, a GD rival of Lil Durk's who is connected to the people that they say killed Lil Durk's brother D-Thang. They're basically saying that, okay, that is a gang-related murder, that's separate, all right, we're going to try and put that on the calendar, but this murder, this Los Angeles murder, it wasn't a gang murder. They're saying the act itself wasn't an act of gang violence. What it was that they were basically, trying to get revenge for what happened to King Von. Obviously, the judge made it very, very clear that what is going to be allowed to be discussed is King Von's gang membership, the gang membership between the defendants and co-defendants and co-conspirators, that basically means that they are relevant to each other, like how they know each other from way back being in gangs, the reason and the motivation and the motive for allegedly wanting to King Von because he was such a prominent member of the Black Disciples. But what they're not allowed to do and what they're not allowed to look into and talk about is, the gang reasons. They're not allowed to say that it was a gang-related murder. And what I noticed, and bear in mind, I've looked into this story extensively, I've looked very, very deep into Quando Rondo's gang affiliations, his membership of the Rolling 60 Crips, but in Savannah, Georgia, these gangs kind of have a lot of different, I don't know the right word, but sets kind of all around the country. And, Quando Rondo's gang membership has never been brought up, and they're not going to be allowed to basically talk about gang membership in context of the murder of Savia Robinson, aka Lil Pab. But what is interesting is the judge said, look, it's up to the jury. If the jury decide based on the testimony that they think Durk and them were all in a gang and were doing gang stuff, that's fine. But that might not necessarily mean that they believe that he did the murder, and vice versa. They can say, he said that, look, the jury might be completely unconvinced that Durk was ever in any kind of gang, but if they're convinced that he orchestrated the murder for hire with his co-conspirators, then they can still find him guilty even if they don't believe that there's any sort of gang membership.
Wait, this video is sponsored by Freecash. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to check out Freecash, where you can earn rewards by completing games, surveys, and other offers.
So it was a really interesting kind of back and forth. Some of the stuff that's going to be allowed, I think, is going to make a big difference, but I think that is a big key issue that the judge has ruled on, the gang membership, whether they're allowed to talk about that. And again, I feel like that's honestly something that really works in Durk's favor. They're going to allow some of it. Obviously, the government's gang expert is allowed to testify, but he's not allowed to talk about certain things. And I really think that is leaning more towards being beneficial to Durk.
Promo alert, promo alert, promo alert. Today is NBA King David. Make sure y'all go follow him on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, comment, and let him know I sent you. He just dropped a banger called Legendary. The link will be down in the comment section. Get in the comments and let me know, is the song fire or not?
On these streets, I'm legendary. On these beats, I'm legendary. On these beats, I'm legendary. On these streets, I'm legendary. On these streets, I'm legendary. I pack heat like the military. And if treated unfairly, I bury his adversary. On these beats, I'm legendary. I put beats in obituaries.
Promo alert, promo alert, promo alert. Today is The Chill Show. Make sure you go follow him on Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel. He just dropped another dope interview with Big Head, the Dome Doctor. He didn't hold back. He revealed he never made $1 from any work he did with Boosie and Trill ENT.
Been a real life on some of the biggest hit boosting with. I never got paid for nothing from Trill. Nothing. No advance, no nothing.
He also revealed that Boosie cousins Donkey and Brunson, the only reason people feared Boosie.
Man, Boosie was probably playing basketball or something. Donkey, Bronson, they older than Boosie. His cousin. Yeah, they made the way for the Boosie situation. Not as far as his talent, but as far as his cross the track. And if you play with him and, giving him game and knowledge. Donkey and Bronson.
He gave the real. I'm talking about he spoke on Youngboy, Kevin Gates, and Nussy. I ain't gonna lie. He kept it so real. I think eventually he gonna tell Chill to delete that interview. So make sure y'all go over there, check it out right now, and get in the comments and let him know I sent you. The link will be down below.
Charleston White, Brick Baby, again, loose cannon comes to the ultimate.
If I step, I'm the leader of this 8 shit.